Hello, hello. Welcome to the City of Healing. This is Angela, and I do hope that you all are doing well this wonderful Tuesday evening. It's a beautiful day, of course, and started out with a good day as well. Got up and I was in my backyard, and I smelled this very strong aroma, like animal scent, like fur, like you just wash your dog or something like that. And I didn't take my dogs out um, yet. So I looked up and I looked in a little far distance and I see these two deer looking at me like, oh, wow, she caught us. And they took off. And I was surprised, as usual, when I see deer, because we don't usually see deer, especially around this time of year. So I was a little shocked. But deer are so beautiful to me. I mean, how, you know, tall they are and how picturesque they are, the long legs and the beautiful eyes and the smooth brown fur and the little white splotches on their chest. I was like, wow, just gorgeous. But anyway, I wanted to come forth and talk about, our children are the anchor to the universe. And I heard that quote from Wayne Dyer, and he probably got it from somewhere else. But anyway, I love Wayne Dyer. He was a spiritualist, very influential for me, my spirituality. And I read a couple of his books and looked at him on YouTube, and he's wonderful, very inspirational. But one of his quotes, or something he used to say, is that our children are the anchor to the universe. And that's a profound statement, especially if you have children and you think about that, because you're thinking, what does this mean? And my conclusion is that, our children are the future, and things are different than where they were, and we must expect change and trust our children. I'm not saying, let them go out and party and do all types of outrageous things, but, trust their decisions, especially when they're older. I know my son, he's a very slender, tall gentleman now. And I don't like football. I think it's a very barbaric sport, but he loves it. He plays football. I try to encourage him to play basketball, but he does not want to play basketball. So I must accept that, right? He has plans, he has goals, and it's quite impressive, his plan, his path that he's planning on taking, he calls it. And then my daughter, she's going off to college, and I give her a list of colleges that I like, and she looks at it and says no. She has other plans and other colleges that she prefers. So, in saying all of that, we can be as influential as we can with our children, but also trust their decisions eventually, And fortunately, my kids make great decisions, and it takes a tribe. So they're doing well, and they get compliments. They do well in school. They have extracurricular activities, and other people say they're pretty good kids. So I guess it's true, right? And um, I recall a time when I used to post, different Afrocentric information on my Facebook page, which is Angela Armstrong. And this particular time, this week, I was posting different Adinkra symbols, as I shared before, with the Junama and the Sankofa symbol on my little jean pocketbook. But anyway, this particular time, I was looking at the Adinkra symbol. Time is changing, and it basically looks like two rectangles, and there's a bar that holds both of them together. Some people think it's the as above, so below symbol, but basically it's time is changing, or time changes a Dinka symbol from our African ancestry. They use a lot of symbolism and nonverbal communication, rather, also. And so I was going to post this particular Adinkra symbol, but I got distracted for some reason. And at the time, I had to go out and purchase something at an African store. I think it was shea butter. Touche, who makes the best shea butter, whipped shea butter. Anyway, I went there, and as soon as I went in the store, I noticed, in the store, a pair of earrings, the shape of the Dinkra symbol, that I was gonna post on my Facebook page. I was like, wow, I have to get those earrings. So I did. And but before I could even get to, the earrings, a young gentleman came out, and he's like, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" He was a young gentleman, like 19, so it wasn't no flirtatious thing about it, of course. And I said, "Sure." So he began to tell me about the different African symbolism and artwork that was in the African store, and I was like profoundly astonished and pleased with all of this information that this young man had. And he was going on and on and on, and I said, what school do you go to? How did you get all this information? Because, I've been studying for quite some time, about my African ancestry and African history. And you being so young, how did you get all this information? What school do you go? He's like, school? I don't go to a school. I said, what have you been studying? He's like, I don't have to study. He said, it's an atmosphere. You could just absorb it. It's here. It's here for all of us, All you have to do is absorb it. It's ours to take. And I was like, wow, really? And he's like, yeah, I don't go to school. I was like, well, do me a favor. And he said, I want you to do me a favor first. He said, when you're teaching, and I still to this day don't know how he know that I teach. He's like, when you teach, and don't do it like everybody else. Do something different, make a difference. He was giving me all of this wisdom and encouragement and things I was thinking about already, but it was just really good to hear him saying it. And so I said, well, do me a favor. Again, I said, and he said, okay. I said, I want you to write some books. He's like, write books? He's like, you can't get anything out of books. I said, why not? And he dropped down and started doing push-ups. I don't know what that meant, but he said he's not going to write books. He said because knowledge is already here. It's in our atmosphere, and all you have to do is absorb it. And I think it was profound. I think that's interesting. And perhaps times are changing towards that. And that was my lesson from the Dinka symbol. That's what I got from that. Times are changing, and our children are the anchor to the universe. So I always find a lesson in every situation, and definitely that was a good lesson for me, even though, we want to hold on to our children and dictate what they do with their lives. It's best, to be there as a support system and trust that they will make the best decisions and the world a better place, because that's what we instilled into them, hopefully that's the goal. Anyway, I just wanted to come forth and share that little message. It's very important and pertinent in my life, and for all of us that have children, something to think about. And I was thinking also, this is funny to me, but I was looking at some of my videos. I don't look at all of them. Some of them I just do it. I don't know how to edit them. I don't redo most of them, just as a learning curve for me. But and looking at them and looking at myself in the mirror now, but not so much now. But it looks like my skin is really, really oily, and it's not. And my skin, like I said, is normal. And I don't put a lot of oil and lotion on my face. It's just, pretty decent skin. And I've noticed also, particularly with two people that I really look up to, Lisa Marie Goodson and Queen Neat, that I both met personally before. And I've realized that sometimes what you see in pictures and specifically on YouTube videos, that they don't always match. Because, Lisa Marie Goodson, even though she's beautiful on video, met her in person, she's even more beautiful. And even though she's small, but when I met her in person, she's petite, she's short, and she's gorgeous. And it's just like, it's the same person, but not the same person. So I found that very interesting. And then also with Queen Neat, she's very statuesque and very, not really tall, but she's maybe 5'9". But you wouldn't know that by looking at her on videos or on Facebook. She's really gorgeous. Two beautiful women that are even more beautiful in person. So my point being that sometimes, what we think we see in videos and in pictures, it's not all to the person. Maybe that's obvious to some people, but something I found very interesting, something to think about. Anyway, I just wanted to come forth and just share that and enjoy this beautiful walk. I was doing some arm exercises, and my neighbor's like, oh my goodness, there she goes. Doing arm exercises as I walk, try to keep my arms a little slender and flexible, and just enjoying the wind, the breeze, the sound of nature before the sunset. Anyway, my second favorite word anyway. Thanks for visiting the city, and I hope you all have a beautiful evening. Take care.